mad at me because I made us late once again. I'll take you inside. I hope we can take videos in there. Otherwise, see you there. Hello, hi. So the tour had already started at this point. We were a bit late. So now we're just gonna go straight down to the cellars.
So maybe on the stairs by getting down, it's the first artistical collaboration we ever asked to a Czech artist.
Now we're really going down to the cellars at this point. He's explaining to us everything we need to know as we go along, as we walk through the cellars. Look how gorgeous this is, guys. How beautiful this is. Loved, loved, loved it.
Written Don RUINART 150 centiliters. I know that Don RUINART is the brand name given to our Blanc de Blanc and Rosé vintage. So I know they're aging for 9 years for the Don RUINART Blanc de Blanc bottle. Primary, secondary or tertiary aromas that the winemaker tastes once a year to decide if it's either great or if we need to wait a little more. And when they decide it's great, this will be sent here. But if I only do this movement, I could. The biggest ones, they go down quite fast. But the smallest one, they're so thin, they keep floating for a month. That's why you see also my fingers are kind of blurry. And if they arrive last, this tiniest one, I do these movements and the sediments go back for floating for adding months. That's why we cannot do only these movements, but step by step. So at the end, in here, the surface will be as small as possible for the exchange of between the leaves and the wine, and the air will struggle to get this through next step, or like bridge. You can keep the bottle upside down like this for decades. There won't be that much of an evolution. It's when you disgorge the bottle that you need to think about drinking it in 5 years for a non-vintage, maybe 20 for a vintage. That's what we can promise. Above that date, it's difficult for us to anticipate what could be the flavors. Maybe good ones, but maybe we don't know. biodegradable. So we decrease by 60% our carbon footprint. It's also 9 times lighter compared to the next ones, the previous ones. So when you ship it to Australia, that's how we calculate our carbon impact by the grams of CO2 per kilometer. And if you have something like this, it's more interesting. No copyright, so if other wineries want to do the same, they can. So if you clip it on the side, you get your bubbles to be seen in the modern dress. Blanc de Blanc non-vintage, or nearby it, Rosé non-vintage as well. And on two sides, the vintage version, RUINART Blanc de Blanc Vintage 2010, or RUINART Rosé Vintage 07. That's the choice you get for today. For each of you to select one first drink of either Blanc de Blanc or Rosé non-vintage, and a second drink of its vintage version to see on the same color what could be the different tastes. It's up to each of you, of course. And of course, the most difficult part of my job is this, to taste everything and make sure there is no bad taste for you. There is still a slight risk, but we never know. Last year I had 13 of them, and I opened about 10 bottles a day, so that fits in the statistics. I start with the rosé. Come next to you and tell me Blanc de Blanc or rosé. For you, madame, Blanc de Blanc or rosé? Rosé?
Yeah. Didn't get different ones.
May I put it on that one?
Yes.
From left to right.
Okay. Not for you.
For you, madame?
I'll take the other one.
Blanc de Blanc?
Yeah.
Rosé?
The bus, so.
Thank you.
There you go.
What's wrong with you being a YouTuber?
Prost!
One, two, three, go.
And I put right now by the second drink, easier to compare this way. For this one, it's always a good occasion to give you some tips about how to open a bottle of champagne, especially for safety. To the cork to escape. I'm right-handed, so my right hand will first start to put the thumb above the cork, and I open with the second one here on my left. In 6/2 of the turn, this wire muselet, we say, is left open. But sometimes this we want to remove it, and it's a mistake because if I remove this, I need to remove my thumb, and the cork will have a chance to escape. Even more, it's like a better grip for my hand. I put these two fingers above that line, and I don't move anymore. So my hand doesn't slide on the cork. I twist it with my left hand on that part where I get more amplitude, more strength. I just do that, and I start right now to feel the cork getting out. So I do it step by step, not have a big explosion, but just a small, discreet whisper. If I made it properly now. Pressure on my shoulder, in front of cameras. And that's all.
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
It's good.
Great.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's richer. If you've never tried champagne before, that should be the one.
two different colors.
Yeah.
And the first thing we have a look about is the contrast of color. It's the first hint to understand how old the champagne could be potentially.
Okay.
You switch from champagne aging from 3 years to 11. So you switch to like an actual rosé color to something usually coppery, ambery, or salmony.
Wow.
Still does?
Put them in a handbag.
Champagne sommelier called Philippe Javès to design it this way. He said tulip glasses, just like for white wines of Burgundy. In fact. We are not forbidding you to drink in flutes, but if you want to make a technical tasting, this helps your body to smell better the taste. The risk of the flute is to be too straight and the gas dissolved inside of the wine goes straight to your olfactory receptors and even give you some tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
While here, stays inside for a while before taking the seat. And before the coupe is the opposite problem. It's too wide open and in 5 minutes you don't smell anything else. Typical champagne criteria. So we could make a difference, but for now it's all the same alcohol content for all the range of
Which one do you like better?
12.5.
Okay.
And the carbonization process doesn't
Had to add a certain amount of sugar and yeast that creates
Which one is better?
amount of gas we need to get the proper pressure inside. And so that's why we need to make the exact sugar content every year on the grape.
Not this one.
Maybe I'll let you take a picture before I bring this back to the fridge. So that's between 0 to 6, so less sugar, and the market is asking for more and more extra brut with you can keep having the same champagne for an event like a wedding or a Christmas Eve or any family reunion that will take for about maybe 3 or 4 hours, not to drink irresponsibly, but if you take 3 glasses of the RUINART Rosé 07, maybe your face will be completely red, not because of alcoholic consumption, I repeat, it's the same, but it's so complex that your brain will be working so much to say what's happening right now to the mouth. So for different occasions, that's for sure. Rosé, on the other hand, is particular in champagne for the way that you can make it. Usually for a still rosé, you take black grapes, you press these grapes where the skin is black but the juice inside is clear, and so if you press it gentle, there is no contact and you get the clear juice. If you let in contact the juice and the skin for maybe 10, 12, 16 hours, that is up to the winemaker to decide, you get your actual rosé color. And there you go for the first fermentation. In Champagne, we have 2 fermentations. So we are the only ones, as designation in France, allowed to add some white grapes during the blending after the first fermentation, but before the second one. That's great because our grape variety that we like the most is the Chardonnay. In both of these Blanc de Blanc, 100%. Here you already got 45% of Chardonnay and 55% of Pinot Noir. In here you have the most Chardonnay of a rosé at 81% Chardonnay and 19% Pinot Noir. It's particular, right? But maybe that's one was the most different compared to the others. That goes on something truly spicy like cardamom or coffee or caramel, toastiness to the nose. That we like for pairing with meat, which is unusual for champagne. A nice side for my favorite question ever. Which one did you prefer?
My favorite.
Like Blanc de Blanc. And
Blanc de Blanc?
Yeah, for her.
And no,
think so.
And this one? Okay. Okay. And for you? Dom et Blanc, 2010?
2010, yeah. I like this.
It's a banu you disagree that you have you to choose the bottle at restaurants after all of them. What about our Australian guests?
We had a few differing opinions. I like the vintage.
Mhm.
I like the two vintage.
Okay.
Maybe I'm getting swayed by the reception.
Probably.
I like those.
And for the rosé.
Classic.
That's why I love just discussion.
Yeah.
Just 4 members. For 5 years, I never had one group of either 12 or even 9 like right now to agree on the same bottle.
No. Yeah.
We'll be buying it on vintage, but we like
I love it.
I like the vintage rosé. Vintage rosé?
Yeah,
too?
we use it as well.
You too? Okay. Good news that you agree.
Really? This,
And
yeah.
for you,
I
the
know.
empty ones?
Wow.
I enjoyed it very too much. I actually like the more recent.
Vintage.
I was
The vintage
a huge
actually
fan
good.
of the vintage,
Mhm.
but it was nice. It's different.
To tell the truth, I have a different feeling going to if I have a lunch or not. Right now, this is all I need to be on heaven with 3 of my friends on the terrace in a server because it's you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You go for it. Emulsion by the side or a nice with a champagne sauce.
So Paula, how was the Champagne tour? How was the RUINART Champagne tour? Did you like it?
Amazing. This
Amazing.
is just my first. I can't wait for the rest.
Oh my gosh.
Before I make up my mind.
Which was your favorite RUINART?
The non-vintage rosé.
Yeah?